brought me there.
Well, that's good. So I didn't. I spent 1 year, teaching middle school, and
I forgot about your Atlanta stories.
Challenges, but as far as like how you talk to them and you say, this is how you're going to address me and things like that. So yes, you do have to establish that up front. But at church, I actually led the youth ministry, and there were times when I thought, okay, I have to guide them. I have to lead them in the right way, because they're looking up to me, and I have to make sure I am, blessing them. But at the end of the day, I honestly believe, and I never had the opportunity to tell them. I had the opportunity, but I never did. And I wish I would have told them. But they blessed me more than I think I ever blessed them. So there was time when I was feeling bad. Life was lifing. I wasn't feeling like it. And the fact that they showed up for rehearsal, the fact that they listened to me, they looked up to me, they gave me so much purpose. So my question for you is, what do you think, or what would you say to your children? Not to say that you haven't, but your students, how have they changed your life, or how have they contributed to your life? How have they blessed you in ways that you never thought would happen because you were the teacher, but yet you found yourself being taught by your students?
I think it's so many different things that I've taken away from my students. I think, as I oftentimes say, the things that I take away that mean the most to me, and those interactions, relationships to grow like that, it's gonna sound crazy. The thing I take away the most, that I appreciate the most, and I tell them all the time, I know, God willing, there's gonna be a time I'm always in, as my mom used to say, Walmart's, put an S on the end of it, and I see my students out, and they're like, "That's Mr. McGinnis," and they run up, and it's like, "Hey," and an enabler for them to make that statement. That's the most important thing to me. And that goes both ways. I've had students that they done phenomenal things in life, and you're like, man, like, okay, that kid just taught me how to do this and that, TikTok and that, and this and this and that. And I had a kid the other day saying, you talk about blown away. I had a kid in my class raise his hand. First of all, I had to apologize to him because I thought he was trying to be silly. But when I tell you next what he said to me, he said, "Mr. McGinnis," I said, "What?" And he said, no, that's not that. He said, "You had mentioned something the other day about what the number one goal in business is and making a profit." He said, "You got time out the class? I wrote a business plan. I want you to read it."
Nice.
This kid had a business plan in his own words, in his note section on his phone. And I sat there and I was like, holy smokes.
Wow.
I'm like, man, this kid, it's about inspiring me. He inspired me. I'm like, wait a minute, I need to step my game up, get my little channel together and learn my. Right. This kid is in here and wrote a business plan. I don't know when he wrote it, but it was in his words. I'm like, whoa. So I get those experiences from the children. And actually they children, they're young adults, right? Mm-hmm. That's those ones that you take away. You're like, man, that kid just inspired me to get my thing together. Mm-hmm. Or, kids come in and they got real experiences. Like, Miss McGinnis, I went home and how I fixed this meal again. Like, wait a minute, you cooking dinner? How you do that? I went grocery shopping. I did this. Or kids come in and tell me, hey, you talking about this? I opened up an E-Trade account. You got time let's talk about some stocks. Like, what? For real? Yeah. So those are those moments with those kids. Like you say, some of them you see in the moment. Others, I just pray and believe in my heart that 5, 10, 15, 20 years, God willing, from now, they're going to run up. They're going to do the whole 9 yards. They might be like, hey, that's the ball head teacher I had in middle school. They might, hey, yo, Mr. McGinnis. Me, be like, hey, I don't know who the kid, because he look older. I'm like, how's it going? Because I don't know who you are. And they say, guess what I'm doing? I cannot tell you that moment right there, whatever they say is the most powerful thing and means the most to me. And just hoping it's something I said, experienced, something we talked about, something that we joked about. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm different in my school. When I say different, I'm different because I'm me. Same way me and you joke. I'm in there, I'm shadow boxing with the kids. I'm doing all this, right? And teacher's like, stop doing that. I'm like, what's the problem? I ain't harming nobody. They ain't harming nobody. Matter of fact, kid just shot me something. I'm learning all of that.
Right.
So I take like going to school. Like I tell people, it's not really. You know, I get it. I appreciate that part too.
But it was rewarding. It was hard. But to your point, when you hear those statements about guess what I did, or especially when they say they give you credit, you know, because of you, I now want to be an engineer, or because of you, I now enjoy math. Because of you, I know how to, you know, I have an interest in robotics, whereas before I only wanted to know about Instagram. So it is definitely, I think, the most rewarding beyond the pay, because we know that's not why you do it, but just the reward of knowing the impact and the influence that you've had on these other children.
Wow.
Okay, so now let's talk about this whole travel thing you have going on, where you have citizenship in multiple places. Now, I know, just either by talking to you or every time you ask me to go see your Instagram or Facebook so that I can know where you are, because you won't tell me. You'll hit me up and say, go check your Facebook.
Go check out where I'm in.
So I can see where you are. So it seems like, you know, you just dedicated to getting a new stamp in your passport just about every week. So I want to know, with all this international travel, how has it had an impact on your lens, like from a worldly view?
Oh yeah.
What's the impact here?
It is so powerful, I believe, to see and experience diverse cultures. So it's not only international travel, but of late it has been. It's the experience of experiencing something new. It's the because I'm big. My motto when I travel is I'm doing what the locals do. So if you see a lot of the things I do, I'm big on, like, I'm in the food, even if it might, you know, his stomach might be whatever, but you know, but I'm in it. Like I'm uplifting, you know, to take your children to countries that they may have only ever heard about, you know, to dive in. I'm working on my Spanish. Not there. That's fun. You know, it's like, I've always been envious, I'll be honest, of those that are bilingual or trilingual or multiple language. Like I tell my students all the time, like, how many speak more than one language? People raise their hand. I'm like, man, I wish I could. And they teach me that, going back to the last question you asked me. So for travel, it's been it's just wild to do it. You know, I told my youngest, which is me, I guess, claiming it out loud, to buy global maps and put pins in every country we've been. And I told my kids, I said, we're going to all 7 continents. And, you know, first I just said it and they see it. And then you know, you take them to one, they're like, oh shoot, like, you know, and they have that experience and, you know, take videos, you know, and it allows us now to capture those moments, and to share those experiences. And, you know, it's unbelievable. It is literally something that, in one of my jobs that I do, you know, when I see people doing it, I get probably more excited than the people doing it. Traveling, taking those trips. Just you come, I'm like, where you going? Like, oh, how's that work? Or they show me pictures. I look it up, like, you check out this. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going there. And I keep my bag packed, ready. I mean, ready, set, on a plane, go. So, you know, it's funny you say that. I was talking to somebody. I was like, I looked at my passport, and it got a lot of stickers and stamps in it. I'm like, man, this is fun.
Yes, yeah, and you're still on the mission. So I commend you for that as well. And should you ever, you know, get the desire, or should the good Lord lay it upon your heart, I am available to be adopted, so that I can hit these continents with you. And the good thing about it is that I have my own luggage already. I feed myself.
You feed yourself.
I clothe myself.
You can just take care of yourself.
Much. I just need to be on the plane with you as we travel to these different continents and help in the map. I already have my passport too. I'm legit.
Oh, so I know you are. I know you are.
You decide that your spirit has called you
take a friend.
Adopt
A friend.
A well-grown,
a grown friend.
You just let
me know.
You just let me know. You just let me
know. Now, I will also say, and I'm gonna speak this into existence. The wanting to share those experiences. I even travel different in the sense of how long I go. So, it's even more dynamic when it's like I'm only here. I feel like it's a song. So I'm like, I'm on the ground for 48 hours. And I hit the ground. And I mean, when I say I hit the ground in the country and I'm diving in. I'm big. I take the tours. I want to see the city, see the culture. Whether I'm on one of them big buses, I'm on a walking tour, allows me to kind of see what's going on around me. And then, next thing is food. Seeing what what beverages y'all like to consume. I'm big. I take the tours. I want to see the city, see the culture. Whether I'm on one of them big buses, I'm on a walking tour, allows me to kind of see what's going on around me. And then, next thing is food. Seeing what what beverages y'all like to consume. That's different. I look different than a lot of the travelers that people see. I'm proud to represent diversity in that sector. That's a proud feeling as well when you're on some of these planes and people are like, they looking twice. I'm looking back at them like, yeah, I'm up here too.
Right.
Right. So where are you headed? You get to sharing information, and I've made some amazing friends from Africa to Panama to Vietnam. Like I've in my short time, I've literally. So I got some amazing things coming. I'm very excited about that. Very excited. But yeah, I keep going.
Okay, well, good. Well, I'm not gonna hold Mr. Joey long because I know he needs his rest so that he can prepare for his next international trip. But one of the things you talked about earlier was peace is priceless, and I wholeheartedly agree. Peace cannot be bought. So, what are some of the things you do or you would suggest folks to try in terms of protecting your peace?
Great question.
Important.
Great question. And we'll end on that one. Find a healthy hobby. Whether it's exercising, golfing, racquetball. There's a new sport that I think my sister was telling me about. It looks like a racquetball. There's a new sport that I think my sister was telling me about. It looks like I don't know what that thing is called. It looks like miniature foosball, or not foosball, but some tennis. But a healthy habit helps with peace of mind. Eating healthy as you can. Exercising when you can. Finding good friends that you can talk to when you can. And more times than not, trying to find times to smile more than not. And just, trust in your heart. If something don't feel right, you're going to get one go around at this thing called life. And I think for those that have that mindset, and not, it don't have to be on any scale. It could be bigger than the scale we're talking about, or it could just be whatever. But you just find that opportunity to find those things that you feel that it provides you that peace. And I just think there's, simple, healthy habits, eat healthy, find some good friends. Doesn't have to be nothing major. I tell people all the time, man, just get together, do what y'all like to do, and take out a camera and take some pictures and some videos. And them memories right there, they last forever. And just something simple, So that's what I try to do. I hope everybody tries to dive in there and do that. I know, again, we talked a lot about, whether you asking me some questions. I can't thank you enough.
You're very welcome. Yeah. And I also want to share with your listeners, your viewers, that we did come up with the theme for this.
Oh, yes.
Mentioned it in the beginning, but the theme for tonight is unveiling life's challenges from grief to chasing dreams. So I do not want to end without at least asking you, do you have any final words or any suggestions, tips, thoughts that you would like to share with everybody?
Yeah, it means simply put, I would just share and ask if you got anything from our conversations, share the video, dive in the experience. I'm open to talking about anything. It helps me and helps others learn about each other, and that again, those friendships that you have, cherish them. I mean, if I'm rambling, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. If I can ever help you, you let me know. Because this won't be the last time, but it is definitely one of the times that it means a lot to me to share a lot of what I did, because I don't typically do this in this setting. So it means a lot to me. And again, I appreciate everybody for listening, and we'll not gonna say goodbye, but we'll talk to y'all soon. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the Netfield Experience. Thank you, Dr. Williams. All right. Talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.